Stereotypes. They are extremely negative and dangerous, and unfortunately everyone has probably subconsciously stereotyped someone at some point in their lifetime. Stereotyping happens every day, everywhere, no matter how hard people try not to. Sadly, many stereotypes simply are not true and have many negative aspects that people don't realize, like aggression, overeating, inability to focus, and difficulty making rational decisions. Professor Michael Inslicht of psychology at the University of Toronto Scarborough did a series of studies on the matter and concluded that stereotyping has long-lasting effects. He said, "These lingering effects hurt people in a very real way, leaving them at a disadvantage. Even many steps removed from a prejudicial situation, people are carrying around this baggage that negatively impacts their lives." What's really concerning is that with the huge advancements in technology and media over the last decade, people are being exposed to stereotypes more and more. Being a former student athlete and having many friends that are athletes, I wanted to dive into this issue of the student athlete stereotype even more, specifically in television. Whether it's sitcoms, Netflix series, or just your local news, all likely have an example of stereotyping a student athlete in some way. In popular culture, student athletes are often perceived as dumb jocks, the popular kid, or receive special treatment. Why are student athletes often perceived this way? Well, it's the TV shows that people are watching every day and the media that portrays them as this. Obviously, not all student athletes are the popular kids, or are dumb jocks, or even receive special treatment. Of course, you can always find examples where this is in fact the case, but all student athletes should not be perceived this way, yet many people believe these stereotypes because of television. Sports is a huge industry for television. For example, ESPN, which is owned by Disney, brings in the most profit out of all of Disney's many other owned assets. With sports being such an important topic in general for Americans, student athletes are often under the eye of the American public. The media especially likes to focus on negative stories about student athletes rather than the good ones. Feel-good stories are nice, but scandal stories increase revenue. This concept of focusing more on the negatives further influences the public to perceive student athletes by stereotypes. Again, this is very dangerous to many of those hardworking athletes where this stereotyping does not apply. Now let's look at actual television shows that are fictional, such as sitcoms, where the use of stereotyping is intentionally used for humor or to satisfy what popular culture has perceived student athletes to be. In many shows, student athletes are portrayed as being dumb, superhuman, or also jerks or spoiled students who do not appreciate the perks they receive. A great example are the characters Puck and Brittany on the show Glee. Throughout the show, Puck is shown as a popular football player, a selfish jerk, and someone who thinks very highly of himself.
It's hammer time.
Please, this is from Marc Jacobs' new collection.
Wait. Okay.
While Brittany, a cheerleader, is portrayed as the dumb blonde stereotype.
Did you know that dolphins are just gay sharks?
Another common stereotype about student athletes in television is that they are superhuman, or are popular kids that are above everyone. Something that is very misleading is that in television, the athlete character is almost always played by a very muscular, dreamy, attractive man or beautiful woman. An example of this would be the character Maddie McKibben in the MTV show Awkward. Time and time again, we see the student athlete character in television shows appear to be getting ridiculous privilege because of their good looks and athletic success. From Mario Lopez's character AC Slater in the show Saved by the Bell back in 1989,
Alright, there's only so much Slater to go around.
to pretty much all of the jock characters in the Netflix show 13 Reasons Why, we see student athletes getting this privilege and being able to get away with almost everything.
You had sex with her that night.
Did I? Yeah, I might have.
Now let's clarify some things. Are all student athletes dumb jocks? No, of course not. If a university requires a 3.0 GPA and a 1600 on the SAT for acceptance into their college, then a student athlete must pass the same requirements. Colleges do not want to give scholarships to athletes if they think the kid is going to struggle academically. In addition, athletes take the same required courses as anyone for their major, yet the perception of the dumb athlete still persists. Now, are all student athletes superhuman and super attractive and get away with everything? No, of course not. Student athletes are typically just normal, average-looking people, not the godly superstars they are portrayed as. I played football in high school for 4 years, and trust me, most of my teammates didn't look like that, or that. In conclusion, it is important to realize that the media, and especially television, can paint a very misleading picture, and it is evident that stereotyping student athletes is very common. Stereotypes can create a lot of negative effects, and it is important not to read too much into them.